Hi everyone, and welcome to a quick look at some images taken with a Canon EF 16-35 f2.8 L version 2 USM lens. The picture is on screen obviously, so you can see the name of the lens there. I have started, if you notice on my reviews now, I sort of show you some images first, and it's because I've decided that, to be fair, when you buy a lens and when you buy an L lens, you already know before you buy it that the quality is superb, simple as that, end of story. And all you really care about after that is the image sharpness and is it worth the money. Now, I will tell you that when I bought this lens, it was a toss-up between this one and the Tamron 15-30mm f2.8 VC. Now, when I did my homework on it and I had a play with it, the Tamron is actually a bit sharper at f2.8 through the focal range, but this lens isn't far behind, and I just got this lens because it's a pro grade lens. If it had been really rubbish and soft, then I would have got the Tamron, but I got the Canon because it's a pro grade lens. It'll last me for years, but I do know it has a couple of little niggles, which you're going to see in a minute anyway. So what we'll do is we'll press the right arrow key and get that. Right, okay. So first things first, I got the camera on a tripod and I thought I'd photograph a wall. It's very muddy in my garden and it was raining, so I was quite quick out here. But let's take a look at the centre sharpness. The settings are up the top, but basically I shot them at f2.8 from 16 to 20 to 24 to 28 to 35 and from 2.8 to f4, but you'll see anyway. So first shot is around 16mm focused in the centre, and you'll see that that is, if I go to f2.8 and f4, you'll see that f4 is definitely sharper. I'm not going to compare the two, but f2.8 is still okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, come on, it's a RAW file and it's out of the camera. It looks okay, but f4 is definitely got a little bit more sharpness. But let's just go back to the f2.8 and go to the edge. And then we'll go to the 4 and go to the edge. So there's your f2.8. Look at the edges now. And you'll see that it sharpens up at f4. It's still not razor sharp on the edges, but it's sharp enough for me. And what people are saying, if you read a couple of the online reviews, not really YouTube reviews, there's a couple there and they say they like it, but the online reviews sort of slate it a little bit when they're comparing it against like the Tamron. The Tamron is pretty sharp edge to edge, but I just, like I say, I got this because it's an L lens, it's Canon, and it's a pro grade lens, and that little bit of sharpness that the Tamron has on the edges over this, I'm not really right fussed about. I can just sharpen it a touch in Lightroom, and I don't sit looking at images. I look at images like this. That's out of the camera, no sharpening, and that looks great to me. I'm not pixel peeping. So there you go. So then we went into 20mm. So we're at 20mm now at f2.8. Still sharpish in the middle, bit soft on the edges. We'll just go to the f4 now. And again, I mean, really sharpening up at f4. F4's fantastic. Now, I will tell you, I was going to buy... is it a 17 or I can't remember, I think it's a 17-35 or something, and it's an f4 IS lens, but I wanted the 2.8 aperture. I wanted to have, even though it is a touch softer than f4, which is acceptable anyway, I wanted to have f2.8 for low light videography and low light photography. If it's a bit soft, I'll bang a load of sharpening on it in here and that's it. So 25mm now. Basically it's same across the board. Middle is pretty sharp, edge is a bit soft. If we look at the middle at f4, razor, I mean, watch this little dimple here. And at f4 it sharpens up nice and the edges sharpen up too. And that's at 25mm. I do find out now, the higher we get, the softer 2.8 seems in the middle, meaning the further we zoom in. I mean, it's still okay. It's still alright, is that? And f4 is just fantastic in the middle. And then we get to 35mm. I mean, it's still, look at f2.8, it's still sharp enough. And then we go to f4, and you'll see that that's considerably sharper. I'm just trying to find the same place in the image. Look at that, F28, F4. F4's brilliant. But there's nothing wrong with F2 in the centre of the frame either. Right, for this, I moved in even closer. I'm about half a metre away here. So again, we'll just quickly zoom in, and it's the same scenario. F28 is obviously a bit sharper now because we're closer to the subject. F4 just zingingly sharp. 21mm, F28, nice. Let me just get that F4 here. So there's F28, F4, F28, F4. They ain't a great deal in it. These on the edges though. Oh no, it's F35, sorry. That's F28 and F35. Let's just go see the difference between 3.5 and 4. So that's 3.5, 4. 3.5, F4. Yeah, F4's a touch sharper. But to be fair, it ain't a great deal sharper. I'm really happy with it. I'm just going to jump on through some of these now, but I'm going to jump straight to 35mm, and then we're going to zoom in at f2.8. And you can see, I mean, at the end of the day, it's still sharp, bang middle, but it's a bit softer on the edges. Right, I'm going to jump these now. These are just some reality shots. Let me just go full screen. Bearing in mind the raw files, they're out of the camera, there's no editing done, and that's it. 29mm at f2.8, focused on the specialised here, and if we just take a look round, it's pretty damn sharp. If we go to the far corners, I suppose we could say that sheet's a little bit soft, but I mean it is only f2.8 at 30mm, so you're not going to get an infinite depth of field. Now look, I'll just do a before and after with a lens correction. That's all I've done, by the way. And you can look at that. I mean, let's go full screen. Let's not pixel peep. That is well sharp. But we'll zoom in now and pixel peep. So if we take a look now and have a look around the frame, even the edges are sharp. I mean, that wall's a touch soft there. But, I mean, what's wrong with it? F28, it really is tack sharp. There's nothing wrong with it. I know that the Tamron has a little bit of an edge on the sharpness on the edges and stuff like that, but there's nothing wrong with this. I mean, that other example, I was really close to the wall. I think it was about maybe 2 meters on the first few shots, and then I went really close. This now is like a reality shot if it was a group shot. I mean, look at it, center sharpness, absolutely beautiful sharpness. Opening it up to 3.5, even to 8 is just absolute brilliant. Well, now you'll see at 35mm now it won't look as sharp, but I mean it's still sharp enough because it's f3.5. It's just opened up a little bit. But if you look on the edge here, you can see that the sprockets are a touch soft, and I did focus here on around there, and it just looks a touch soft there, which I did say at 35mm. But I never bought this lens. And I would have thought anybody looking into this lens has probably got the Canon 24-70 f2.8. So really, I bought this lens, and I have the 24-70 f2.8. I bought this lens for 16mm, between 16 and 24mm. If I'm going to be above that, I might as well have my 24-70 on my camera. And again, just sound, you know what I mean? It's absolutely spot on. There's a big shot at garden. I'll just show you no lens correction. No editing no editing done again. I mean, and just look at the overall detail. All bins at back, burn bin, my garden's a tip. That's where I was stood, by the way, when I was stood here when I was photographing that wall in this mud. But everything, I mean, if you want to get a magnifying glass out, you could say that's a little bit soft here on this leg, but it's been childish and stupid. Again, f4 focused on this chair. Infinite depth of field. Look at the cogs. The cogs are sharper there than there was in that close-up 35mm shot, and I focused on this chair. So if you think about it, I tried to focus a third of the way into the scene, but I'd say that there's about 50% maybe, and so I focused about there, which gives me an infinite depth of field. Look at the doll on the floor. That's f4 at 16mm. And then just trying to blur some backgrounds, but I couldn't get near enough, but it is a bit soft. Here we go, f2.8 focused here. You see, you can see at 35mm it's focused, but it's just a touch soft. If we go look at, now we're at 16mm, it'll be absolutely tack sharp. Can you see the difference? And you get more depth of field. 16mm f4, focused on the same little wing nut here. I put the square around this black bit and this silver bit, and look at the XT. If you look at the XT now, and you look at it there on the f4 from the f2.8, you can really see that the XT really sharpens up. Here's a good example, quite close, focused on the handle grip. And I mean, what's wrong with detail on that? It's absolutely spot on. Yes, if we go to the edges, you can see that the edges are soft. I mean, obviously, you've got blur on the edges, but, you know, at the end of the day, and the handlebars are slightly twisted. And if we go to f3.5, it's absolutely amazing detail. Absolutely perfect. So, there's the first few images. I will show you the lens and I will talk about it a little bit more. But my recommendations is, if you're looking for a wide angle lens, it's a very, very good lens. It's very expensive. You're talking £1,000, £1,100. So it's very expensive, but it's a pro grade Canon lens, L lens. It's got weather sealing. It hasn't got IS. And the guy that was trying to sell me the Tamron, he said, well, it's around $750 or something like that. It's $730 or something. It's a little bit cheaper and you do get image stabilization. But to be fair, on a lens between 16 to 24mm, which I'm going to use, but even if we use 35, you don't need image stabilization. If you're going to use it on a glide cam, it'd be a nice little addition. But I do have the cheap 180 quid 10 to 18mm Canon for my APC size sensor with image stabilization on for the glide cam. Video work, you're going to be tripoded anyway, or you're going to have it on a shoulder mount. So it's going to be rock solid. You don't really need image stabilization. For the price point, they should have put image stabilization on it, but they haven't. But to be fair, they've probably realised you don't need it, but it still would have been a nice little addition to be able to handhold it at stupidly slow shutter speeds. Like if you want to take a wide angle at church, you might be able to do it at f8 at 10th of a second with image stabilization on. To be honest, I reckon I could still do it at that as is, but image stabilization would make it even better. But overall, negatives, when you zoomed in out above 20, when you start to get above 24mm, 28mm to 35, f2.8 sharp, but right in the centre. The sharpness really falls off a bit on the outsides. At the wide angle end, between 16 to 24, 16 to 20, f2.8 is zingingly beautifully sharp. f4, the edges get really sharp as well, but there's nothing wrong with them at f2.8. Not unless we're going to, if we just full screen this now, I mean, no editing, out of the camera. I mean, I know it's a shit image, but what I'm saying is you can clearly see the point of focus is that grip. It's really sharp. That's where I focus. Thanks for watching. Please comment and subscribe.